race fans. Welcome to CRN's live coverage of the Pit Road Speed Limit Racing Series as we are here at the Worldwide Technology Raceway, also known as Gateway, here in the Midwest. It's time to go racing here on a unique oval here, kind of a slight variation of Darlington. It's kind of egg-shaped. It's got two completely different corners on opposite ends of the track, 1 and 2. You're shifting down maybe a few times here for these next-gen cars to get through 1 and 2. A little bit tighter, a little bit, maybe a little bit less banking. I gotta take a look and see if they have the same banking in each of the corners, but certainly a tighter corner through 1 and 2. 3 and 4, a little bit more of an arc, a little bit more, of what I consider, kind of a typical corner there. You may be shifting down once to get around through those corners, but it's just a unique track here. And with these next-gen cars being 6 gears, you'll see a lot of shifting here tonight. So could see a lot of drivers making some passes, which is what we like to see. Carline, we're joined in the booth by Jimmy Cover. Jimmy, good-sized field out here for Pit Road tonight. Looks like we're shaping up for a good one.
Yeah, 23 drivers here tonight. So if you guys are all interested in a great race, you're probably going to find one here tonight. I know the field and the drivers, after hanging out with them on Monday night, we're excited about Worldwide Technology. Discord's been blowing up, and everybody looking forward to this track. Carl, to be honest, I hate it. and just because it is, obviously you can see on the picture on the screen of the track, 2 unique corners. One is extremely tight, one is a little more open. You talked about shifting here with the next-gen cars. It's almost like a road course, but you're just turning left.
Yeah, this thing definitely can drive like a road course. You don't have the right hand corners, and unless you're trying to save the car. But hopefully that's not the case here tonight. But as far as laps, we're looking at 85 laps here tonight. We got the field all set up. We got our starting order here tonight. Jimmy, why don't you give us a rundown?
Yeah, quick rundown of tonight's starting order. It's going to be Richard Covington Jr. on the pole tonight, with Justin Potts in P number 2, Kyle Emerson and Tiffany Ellis make up row number 2, Brian Roy and Thomas O'Connor on row number 3, Dylan Jacobs and Josh Duncan on row number 4. Row 5 made up of Austin Wells and TJ Hanley, Matthew Hake and Kent Bice on row number 6, Anthony Emerson and Kelly Akron on row number 7, Chris Ledford, Dylan Emerson in row number 8, row number 9, Michael Garcia and Cody Handler. Stand by for some entertainment later on there with his car. And then the rest of the field is going to be back in on the 10th row, Joshua Smith and Will O'Connor, with Bruce Spencer and Jay Mohanan back there, bringing up the back of the pack.
Yeah, I'm sure some of the drivers were a little surprised at the paint scheme on Cody Handler here tonight, as it was kept under wraps, and only the painter Tiffany Ellis knew what was going on with Cody. But clearly some shots back at some of the admins here in Pit Road Speed Limit Racing, as they had a fun experience down at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and some pictures that kind of tell you a story. Maybe I'll hear a little bit.
Yeah, a few pictures as the gang got together, and obviously some selfies and some everything going on there. As you take a look at what's going on, as I'll make my way around the car here, looking at the side, obviously, and yeah, it looks like they had a good time. So it's always good to have a little fun, and even a little more fun, put their face right on the car.
Yeah, I mean that's one heck of a hood. I guess a grill on the hood, if you want to say that. But either way,
get out of his way tonight.
About ready to go racing here tonight. Green flag is out, I believe. Oh, no, never mind. Didn't see. I thought I seen the pace car go in, but that's right. We're going to have an extra pace lap here tonight. As the pace car is still in pit road, but we'll see if it comes back out to actually join the field or not. But take a look in the meantime at the point standings coming in. Again, as we're getting towards the back half of the regular season now, we're on race number 8 of 14 in the regular season, and we've got quite a few different winners here so far. TJ Hanley, Josh Duncan, Justin Potts, Dylan Jacobs, your latest winner, and then Tiffany Ellis with 2 wins on the season here so far, already locked themselves into the chase. waiting to see who is going to lock themselves in. Maybe tonight we'll see if one of those drivers gets up there, gets a second win. Certainly haven't seen the 21 of Richard Covington get up there and get a win. Yeah, we've seen Justin Potts have plenty of time at the front of these fields here this season. Is why he's tied points-wise with Tiffany Ellis in second place, as they are. Get some quick math. They're 16 points behind Dylan Jacobs in regards to points here on the season, as the pace car off the track again, and this time it should be time to go green flag racing. And indeed, Barney waving the flag. We are racing here at Worldwide Technology.
Away they go down the front stretch, heading down into turn number 1. This is the tighter of the two turns. It almost feels like just one constant turn. So pretty easily you can kind of get out of here, but that's where they find themselves probably downshifting, especially after those tires get a little worn in here. But the 89 of Justin Potts going down to the inside is going to slide up the track and get into the wall. I do see some drivers slide against the wall towards the back of the pack a little bit. I think that was TJ Hanley. Maybe not, as everybody is still going here, but some drivers really getting real friendly with the wall here already tonight.
Yeah, not a surprise. Some cold tires, obviously, to start this race, and still maybe feeling out the track. I mentioned so many times, you get out there in practice, whether you're doing it, alone by yourself before the session goes up, or even, in the session, getting some practice laps, and unless you can get out there and get with a good sized group, the drivers have what they call a pit party, and go out there with 10, 15 of them at a time, and kind of get used to driving around each other. You may not know what that car is going to do for the first time that you're getting into the corner and you're behind somebody, and is that car going to get loose from the arrow in front of you? Is it going to get really tight, which you typically see? And unfortunately, when you got cold tires, you mix that with the arrow tightness in turn number 1 of lap number 1, you're probably going to find the turn number 2 wall.
Speaking of, obviously, drivers trying to slow things down, seen a little smoke in front of Matthew Haig here, and I thought it was somebody going around. I think somebody was just locking up the tires, Carl.
Yeah, it could definitely be done here. I mean, this is not a short track, Jimmy, whether you want to say so or not. I know we're braking for corners, but it is 1.25 miles, so I'll let you be happy with saying that 1 mile tracks are a short track. No, they're not. But 1.25, you get an extra quarter mile on this one, extra drag strip on this one. But it is a tough one. It is some braking, a lot of braking down into turns 1 and 2 here. I see the cars get down into the corners, but it's definitely not the easiest oval out there. I said it's akin to Darlington, basically, just because of the shape of it being an egg. But Darlington, it's got a ton of banking, and certainly turns 1 and 2 there, definitely different than turns 3 and 4, and it's almost kind of the reverse of Gateway here, with turns 3 and 4 at Darlington being the tighter of the corners. But you're not braking anywhere close to the amount that you have to brake here in the turn 1.
No, but I always had a little easier time with 1 and 2 than I did with 3 and 4 for some reason at this track. I have some races here, and it's not been for quite some time. Obviously, when you first start iRacing, this is one of the free tracks, and I found myself here trying to figure it out, and I had some decent runs back then, but always did right here where like what Michael Garcia did, bounce off the wall a little bit, and you take that little bit of damage. And the thing is, you got to be careful. Obviously, if it's just a small tag, and when pit stops happen. It does look like if we're going to get our first caution, and maybe Will O'Connor involved. Take a glance back to see what happened to Will here on lap number 7. And that past the start-finish line, going down into turn number 1, and just super late break into the number 24, sends a 24. Well, Will O'Connor's the one that actually got around, so he got sent around by, who was that?
Ken Bice in the one right there gets in the back of the 24, and that's going to bring out our first caution of the night here, As maybe Kid Bice was looking ahead, trying to take a look at the selfies on the back of Cody Handler's car, and just kind of lost track of thought. You know, it's spaced out there a little bit, and unfortunately gets into the back of Will O'Connor.
Why on this car?
Exactly. But either way, we're going to be under caution here on lap number 7, early in the race. But Jimmy, pit stops.
I mean, if I have unlimited tires and whatnot, or maybe if I smack the wall, but kind of early here, Carl. Obviously, only 8 laps in, so it's kind of a mixed bag. But I see a lot of drivers, of course, and this is kind of like what I said, mixed bag. And you see Dylan Emerson coming in, Thomas O'Connor, TJ Hanley. I always want to take advantage of taking a pit stop under caution. I mean, you don't really lose too much. You know, you might lose a few spots, and if you're running, you know, maybe you start off a bad start, you gotta work on a little damage or whatever. But take a little splash, get back out there, and maybe those 9 laps or 8 laps, you can stay out longer. And then when everybody pits under green, then you stay out, and a caution happens, and then now you're a lap ahead of everybody. So. This could be a good call for some drivers, could be a bad call, but right now some of those drivers just coming in, taking the chance, taking that opportunity since it is early, and see everybody kind of breaking down, getting away. Kent Bice still in the pits at the moment, and the number 1 back here in P number 23.
Maybe getting some damage repaired there on the front of the 1. Looks pretty clean from at least from a distance here, but maybe it is banged up a little bit. I mean, maybe some scuffs that I can't see. I don't know if he used a fast repair or not, but there we go. The 1 now down and away, and gonna rejoin the field here. But certainly gonna give a shout out to all the drivers out there. Good size field here tonight with 23 cars. I know this is a home race for someone. I want to say it might be a home race for the Emersons. I forget exactly who it was for the home race here tonight, but some drivers really looking forward to this track, and maybe it's kind of akin to me and you enjoying Pocono, Jimmy. It's a track that a lot of people don't like, but my basically home track here on iRacing. It was your home track when you were up here in Pennsylvania, so maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just a little bit of home cooking that they like it. Maybe they don't actually like the track. It's just their local track.
Yeah, I mean, if I have to claim a home track now, it's not going to be Five Flags, which is 30 minutes down the road. Daytona is about a 7-hour drive, and I think Dega is probably the closest track, and then it's probably about 8 or 9 hours to Bristol. So maybe Atlanta I could go to. That's about 5 hours. I think that's closer to Daytona, Florida. So yeah, I got some options if I want to try to get a new home track, but I'd have to follow NASCAR. I don't do that very much. I don't have a driver anymore. I don't even know who's running anymore besides a few that make the news, but that's all right. I got my best drivers here at CRN, and I do my own coverage. So but right now, Richard Covington Jr. gets a great start here over the 89 of Justin Potts. Dylan Jacobs back in 3rd, up 4 spots. Tiffany Ellis in 4th. With Josh Duncan round out your top 5.
Battle for the lead here as Potts down to the inside and going to claim the spot here through 3 and 4 as the 21 of Covington. They're going to try and cross back over. We're going to have another caution here. Looks like Anthony Emerson going to spin out here, jumped into the pits as well. We'll take a look and see what happened here as just tries to get into the inside there. And ends up missing the corner, kind of just the same way as the one got into the back of the 24, just late breaking there on the 42, gets into the 08 of TJ Hanley, and we're going to be under caution number 2.
Yeah, TJ obviously has not had any luck missing things these days, and unfortunate. There you can see the right front wheel just jacked up inside of the car. And just, yeah, one of these races this season, he's going to catch a break and be able to get that 08 up front. We've had him up here in the booth quite a few times, but this season just hasn't been his to have, and just constantly fighting traffic or his own doing, maybe catching an EOL or something like that somewhere. So definitely having a rough season there for the 08. And here just begins as well. So obviously took damage on that one. So he'll be back in the pits here. Hopefully he has a fast repair. Maybe. See, did he? Let's see. Oh, he missed his pit box on top of all that. And he's still working.
Try that again. Work it. Work it. There we go. And there we go. Nice clean the serving station at number 08, and he's going to get back out there on the track. Again, Anthony Emerson to pit lane, so not sure why he decided to tow it back to pit lane. Didn't have a meatball. Probably could have driven that car, but maybe just felt bad for causing the incident there and decided to tow it to pit lane. As you see the light damage on the front of the number 42. But either way, should be racking him back up here the next time by, and it'll be Justin Potts now, your control car at the front. Richard Covington Jr., Dylan Jacobs, Tiffany Ellis, and Josh Duckett for your top 5. Then Kyle Emerson, Matthew Hake, Austin Wells, Kelly Akron, and Brian Roy for your top 10.
And the thing is, obviously, when you have a bad night, kind of like what happened to Anthony Emerson there, obviously not wanting to cause an incident, and, maybe not having the amount of time on track that he would like to have, and was trying to keep things going green here tonight. And, some people are quick to hit that F5 or the escape button to get off the track, or if you have it hotkeyed to your wheel, you press that thing, get off there as fast as possible. And sometimes it'll work, and iRacing will keep things green, but that one brought out a caution, and it happens. But just keep going, get out there, keep putting your time in. And I guess if you find yourself having problems with corners, just back them up. Start braking earlier. And then, just slowly start getting, see how far till you feel comfortable, braking into the corner so you can get that car to turn. And that's where I think some people go wrong, is where they'll start where they're, driving in too far instead of braking earlier to let the car do most of the work. And you'll find yourself being more consistent, and you can start working your way up to where your car is. And sometimes just letting off early, letting that more grip on the front tires, get that nose to start turning early is a good thing. And then once that nose gets pointed in the direction you want to go, then ease on the throttle and get that speed up. So lots of things to learn, and a lot of times it's hard to figure those things out on your own, and sometimes being told or watching a broadcast back and forth, you might hear some tips and tricks. We don't have them all, but me and Carl definitely have some time on the track with different cars for sure.
Great restart there for your leader, 989 of Justin Potts, and notice that he decided to take the outside line on this restart, and it's something that we don't see on every track, but I'm guessing just wanting to be on that outside to really set up a better entry into turn 1 is the idea on that one. And I'm wondering if they get up to enough speed that they actually need to change gears going into turn 1 on the restarts here, or if they're kind of at the right speed. It looks like Ron Millam having an incident. I don't see the yellow flag coming out just yet. Now Thomas O'Connor off the track. It looks like we will have an incident because there's a lot more involved than just Ron Millam.
Yeah, we'll go back here with the start of Ron, and you can see right there Ron already going to the wall, and then obviously somebody getting into the back of him. It's going to shoot him to the outside, and then the yellow flag hasn't come out yet as they're sliding. But then I think right after that, right up front here, and we'll go up here with Chris Ledford. And yeah, this is past them too. Another incident happens here. You can see the smoke. We seen that live, but you can see behind, somebody just comes down, cuts the nose off to 25 instead of giving enough room, causes the 2571 to go sideways. Dylan Emerson tries to stay down at the inside. and then everybody just kind of sliding in there. You see 71, the 8, the 24, 42 coming in there again. Yeah, a lot of cars just kind of coming to a stop. Carl, and 67 gives the 71 a little boop there, but maybe limited damage here on this one. But obviously, a lot of drivers you can see checking up to avoid the incident.
Yeah, certainly had two different incidents there. I'd like to see the incident coming out turn number 4 one more time with the incident with Ron Millham and see kind of where that one developed. But two different incidents clearly, as the turn 1 incident happened well ahead of this group right here. So we'll take a look back here and see this one more time. And you see it 3 wide racing right there, and I'm guessing Millham probably just had to slow up a little bit coming out of the corner. And unfortunately, that's where he ended up meeting his demise here. As we'll take a look at it here one more time, racing with the 24 and the 08. That nice cleaned up 08, trying to work his way through the field. And see him coming off the corner here, and I'm guessing they get a little pinch, maybe a little bump from the 24. And actually, I think that I don't know if that bump right there is what set him loose, or if he I think he did get help from the 48 exiting the corner there as well. But either way, going to be under caution number 3 here tonight, as these drivers definitely getting a little racy here in the Midwest.
Yeah, a little bit racy. We'll back this up here, and you can see, with Ron here, and you can see the 24 down the inside. And we'll back it up just a little bit here for Carl, because I know he's keeping track. So you can just see him going in the corner, 3 wide. It can happen, but you see the 24 coming up just a little bit into the 91. That's enough to kind of shimmy him up there, and the 91 tries to correct that. It looks like the 48 comes in and tags the rear of the 91. So, which will send that 91 down to the wall. So 48, just a little too much momentum, but obviously cars slowing down a little more than normal in the corners is not what you expect in a race, unless an incident is happening and no smoke in the air. So, but we're on lap number 20, so this race is obviously going to go by fairly quickly. The laps are about 30 seconds when they're running green, a little over a minute, when they're out here under caution. I'm sure Richard Covington Jr. enjoying his time up front, though, here, as it's been fairly easy for the drivers up front. So Justin Potts, Richard Covington Jr., Tiffany Ellis up there, and Kyle Emerson for your first 2 rows. Brian Roy, we've seen him have his fair share of troubles throughout the season so far. And then Josh Duncan up there as well. So then Cam Bias, Michael Garcia, Thomas O'Connor, and Dylan Emerson for your top 10. 3-way tie for the biggest mover with Will O'Connor, Bruce Spencer, and Jay Monin, as they're all about 9 spots up from where they started. But we're going to get ready to go back to green here, as we're out 2 wide, pace cars in.
Yeah, back to the outside for the 89, back to the restart zone, back to the loud pedal here at Worldwide Technology, and a great restart here once again for the 89. Looked like the 60 thought about diving to the inside of the 21. We're going to fall in line here as they're single file for the first 5-6 spots, and hopefully can spread this thing out a little bit, get some good reflex racing in. But you see the battlefield already developing at the back of the field. A 2 wide, 3 wide there as a 43. I don't know if you got into the 08 there, heading down the backstretch. Looked like the 08 maybe brushed the wall a little bit. You see Hanley trying to make his way through this field and maybe try and get out of the uncomfort zone right now that he's in.
Yeah, it's so easy to get, you can see a lot of drivers locking up the front. That was a 67 there. Keep blocking, the smoke keeps flying in through the corners, Carl, and the trail braking's not working for them. I don't know how they have their brake bias set, but the track like this, where I know I got to do a lot of trail braking, I intend to move mine back, or I start at 4 where I know if I enter the pits, I'm good to stop, and then when I go to race, I crank that sucker towards the back, so I give, don't put so much tire usage in the front for the brakes.
Looks like a 24 there, Will O'Connor missing the corner there a little bit. Not sure if he got in the wall or not, but booming back through the field here quite a bit now, all the way back in to 15th position after he did charge through the field a little bit. Now going to lose some positions, but out front it is Justin Potts over Richard Covington as the 24 there. He was heavy into the wall. Kyle Emerson, Tiffany Ellis, and Josh Duncan for your top 5. Kent Bice up 6 spots, up to 6th. Dylan Emerson up 9 spots in 7th. Michael Garcia also up 9 spots into 8th, as they're your biggest movers of the race. And then Brian Roy, Dylan Jacobs making up your top 10, just barely though, as Jacobs and the 8s having some close battling, and unfortunately Cody Handler smacks maybe a few faces off the wall there in turns 3 and 4, but luckily he's still pointing the right direction. Didn't look like too much damage on the front right of the 19, but any kind of damage, it's not going to want to turn as well. And you see it right there through 1 and 2, maybe a little bit of a struggle already.
Yeah, it's tough to get some damage, on the cars, and but go ahead and do the rear chase, and you can see the damage on the front left. So getting into not necessarily a car. A car, not the wall car.
Well, now the question is, if they go to fix the front of that car, can the pit crew do it, or they need to call a licensed dentist to take care of that thing? I think it's really the question. But we got some more smoke, and I think that's a little bit more than some braking, and somebody breaking loose, unfortunately. And I'm not sure if it was Kent Bice or not, but that is going to bring us under another caution. Looks like Austin Wells involved in this one as well.
We'll see what happened here. As Kent Bice was the first off track. I haven't seen an off track on an oval race in quite some time. There it is. It's down on the grass with Dylan Emerson going sideways, and the who was that? The 24 and the 82 kind of going around as well. So that's Will O'Connor. Oops.
I'm wondering if it kind of looked like the 6th Dylan Emerson was getting a little loose before he made contact with the one on that one. Not sure if there was contact made mid corner or not, but unfortunately the 6 kind of goes across the nose of the 1 slightly, and that's what kind of really slows him up. And then I think the other cars behind just really no time to kind of react and really just pile into to this incident here. As we'll take a look back here a little bit, and you see right there, maybe a little contact going into the corner. So the 1 maybe a little hot into to turn number 1 here again, and drifts up, gets the 6 a little bit loose. And Dylan Emerson almost saves it. Had to do some drifting through the corner, and that's why you're seeing all that smoke in turn number 1. But fortunately, maybe he gets on the gas there a little bit too quick, and that's what gets the 1 back into him.
Yeah, it's so hard to catch these, and that was a 64 that kind of came in there and come across there along with the 82, trying to avoid things. And, we can look at these and, try to decipher what's going on. But, right now, when it comes down to it, if anybody wanted, in my opinion, not that they wanted or not, stop entering the dang corners so fast. I mean, that's, brake earlier. You'll get around the corner faster if you're not wrecking. So, we'll see if they can back it up just a little bit. They just need to back up their corners a little bit, Carl. And it's just so easy and you can see the 42 and 10 got into it here as well after the incident kind of happened. And this here's with Kelly, obviously trying to avoid things, and sees the 10 backing out of the way. Going to go way down there to get around the 10 coming across the track. It's just it's easier to back the corner up and then, like I said, start inching your way forward. If you're in a pack and you're not in a position, diving into the corners does not help your case. To try to win the race. You gotta. It's not the end. It's not the end. It's not the last lap. You gotta set the driver up in front of you, see if they make a mistake. Run behind them for a lap or 2. If you see if they're diving in and washing out during the corner. If I back my corner up, I can hug the inside and then get on the throttle earlier and probably beat them outside, without ripping my tires up. There's so many different things that you can do here, but it's starting to get dark here at Worldwide Technology. We're on lap 29 of 85. Dylan Jacobs is now your leader in the number 5 with Matthew Hake, Justin Potts, Chris Ledford, and Richard Covington Jr. for the top 5, as I'm sure some drivers went ahead and did some pit stops there on lap number 27. I have Jacobs and Hake. We're in on lap 18. Potts is in on lap 27. I still have the number 71 Chris Ledford without a pit stop, so gotta keep an eye on Chris Ledford in that number 71, as it could be in a bit of a pickle if this thing goes green for a long time.
The 5 gets on the loud pedal, and we're back to racing here. And I think, Jimmy, a lot of these drivers out here, maybe Ayrton Senna fans, as one of his famous quotes was, "If you no longer go for a gap that exists, you are no longer a racing driver." True. But you got to know some limits here as well. And right now, I think the driver's still testing those limits early on in this race, as we've seen some 3 wide again right off the rip. And this is a situation, Jimmy, where you keep having these cautions, you keep grouping these drivers back up, and that's where you see cautions breeding cautions. You see some more contact there, sending another car into the wall. But going to keep this thing green out here. Hopefully, again, the drivers can get this thing together a little bit as minimum, just maybe a little late braking into turn number 1. More often than not, it's going to benefit you to back up the corner and not drive it in so deep.
Yeah, it's the 71, obviously. He's falling back pretty quickly here, and the drivers are trying to do what they can. He's obviously a lot slower in the corners. Doesn't have that fresh rubber to kind of hold him in there, and he's got to back up the corners as it is. And obviously, on newer tires, you're allowed to attack. You can attack the corners pretty hard, and it doesn't seem like it's really affecting you. But if you ease your tires into their peak, their warmth, they act a lot nicer to you while you're out there. But if you go out there and just trash them, they might not be warm, but they're hot, and greasy. You're slipping and sliding everywhere. Like I said, you see the smoke coming off the tires for some of those drivers. To me, that's instantaneously seeing smoke. I'd be like, if I was their spotter, I'd be like, hey, check your brake bias, roll it back a couple of clicks, until it starts feeling comfortable, and that way you can stop sliding on them front tires. But so that's also, obviously, like we talked about the overdriving into the corner, but it does look like the drivers are starting to maybe get something going here now as well. Lap number 34.85, kind of on that halfway mark here as we're riding on board with Austin Wells back here in P number 14. Your leader is Justin Potts in number 89 again, and looking back, starting to pull away there from Matthew Hake. And Richard Covington Jr. is there, fight for 1 and 2. Dylan Jacobs back there in 4. TJ Hanley has miraculously made it up there into the top 5 at the moment, so having some a good pit stop there. Kyle Emerson is in 6th, Dylan Emerson in 7th, Josh Duncan's in 9th, Tiffany Ellis slides back to 9th in that number 9 car, and then 10th is your number 19 of Cody Hammer.
It's going back on what I mentioned earlier. Turns 1 and 2 actually have more banking than turns 3 and 4, with 1 and 2 being banked at 11 degrees, and 3 and 4 being banked at 9 degrees, with the front and back stretch being a subtle 2 degrees of banking, as they aptly mention it. But I think some of the best racing you see all year in real life in the IndyCar Series is right here at Gateway. The IndyCar Series really puts on a great show every time they're at Gateway, and anytime I catch it, they're on Gateway, I try and tune in, because it's really good. It's kind of the same thing. They're shifting. They're going through a lot of different gears, and you can see a lot of passing happening. Even though they're shorter straightaways here, for in regards to the IndyCars, it puts on one heck of a race, and hopefully we'll get to see that now with Pit Road, if they can settle in here a little bit. But you see that 5 certainly slipping back through the field after he restarted in first. He's back now to 5th place, as Justin Potts back on top, and Matthew Hake is now all the way up into 2nd. He's up 9 spots. Will O'Connor, your biggest mover going forward right now, up 10 spots, just outside of the top 10 and 11th. Biggest driver going backwards, unfortunately, is Thomas O'Connor in the 8th, as he is 11 spots back right now after starting up in 6th, and he is going to be potentially the cause of another incident here, as this one was heading into turn 3.
Yeah, it looks like he got into the 48. I think that's a brand new paint scheme on the 48 as well, as he's trying to get it turned back around to go the right direction. Oh no! Oh, ouch. That was Kelly Akron getting into the 48. post-caution flag. And we'll go ahead and see what might happen here with Joshua Smith for sure. But we're right on board from the sky here, just up there on the outside. And it looks like the 8 just drifts out just a little bit too much, enough to slide the number 48 around. And it goes sideways trying to catch it. And eventually it grips and it goes too far. And that's what stinks about these cars. Getting turned right up there in the number 67. Go into the wall, and then the 48 obviously having some troubles trying to get it going again. Ends up getting taken out there by Kelly Akron. So we'll ride on board here with Kelly at full speed, and he's just trying to catch up to the field. But obviously he's off the throttle here, just kind of cruising around. And there's the 48 just sitting there, and yeah, 48 just moves right in front of him. So probably wasn't expecting him to be there, let alone move towards the direction he was trying to float out to. So Kelly Akron getting involved there. The caution is out. A few drivers coming in. I see Dylan Jacobs, Chris Ledford, Jay Monin, Bruce Spencer. We haven't talked about the 43 much here tonight yet. And Michael Garcia and Joshua Smith all in the pits. So a few drivers taking advantage here, getting some fuels, maybe some tires, maybe some repairs, everything, all the above here. But pretty decent looking paint scheme there on that number 64 as well, Carl.
Yeah, as usual. I mean, this series is usually chock full of great paint schemes, and yeah, is a different one for sure on the number 64, and I'm sure hoping to get it a little more airtime moving up through the field here, as he started back in 18th position and moved through the field a little bit, but unfortunately not back in that 22nd position. Excuse me, actually starting in 17th position. But Justin Potts has seemed to be the one to beat here tonight so far. Just all depends on how these cautions fly when the pit stops are at their peak. And it looks like Dylan Jacobs deciding, you know what, I was sliding back through the field a little bit too much there. So he led the crew down into pit lane, but only a crew of about 5 of them. So they're back there from 15th back to 19th right now. But they got some fresh tires, and we'll see if they try and move their way through the field.
Yeah, I mean, you always want to try to move through the field, just not too quickly. You know, choose and don't overdrive the corners. I guess it's the best advice I could give the drivers right now. And if you go down to the inside, just make sure you hug down to the inside and make sure there's enough room on that outside, as we've seen a few cars kind of get into the outside car, and the outside car seems to be the one that takes the brunt of it, to get sent up into the wall or sent sideways. It's just bad. It's just bad. But it's almost like a dive bomb on a road course, Carl, where the outside guy gets set out into the grass.
Well, we're going to get the restart here on lap number 41. Justin Potts, Matthew Hake, TJ Hanley, Richard Governor Jr., and Dylan Emerson, your top 5. Kyle Emerson, Tiffany Ellis, Josh Duncan, Will O'Connor, and Cody Handler for your top 10. And since we are right about at that halfway point, Jimmy, it's about time to crank these cars up. A little love to hear it.
A little bit of love to hear it.
Sights and sounds here from the Pit Road Speed Limit Racing Series as we're now back underway. A few cautions here tonight just plaguing these drivers, and a little bit aggressive driving, a little bit late into some of these corners. And this last one, it was just the sixth losing it himself. So maybe the track is fighting back here a little bit, as this is not the easiest place to drive. We're going to go right back under the caution. Some heavy hits here, and your front row both involved in this one, as the 89 of Justin Potts and 21 of Richard Covington, two of the cars involved in the incident. And it looks like, I believe that was Kyle Emerson, as he's going to meet Bull. He towed back into the pits as well. We'll take a look back and see what happened, but that was a big one. I'm guessing just a little bit too much throttle coming out of the corner. Looks like the 60 checks up there a little bit, but still ends up
right there.
Little tandem spinning. Little tandems, actually, three-man tandem spinning on that one, as nobody touched anybody.
Nobody touched anybody. They touched here.
All right out there.
Yeah, that's where all the fun happened. Is just three cars, rear end kind of coming around, and maybe too much rear brake bias. Maybe they heard me talk on the broadcast, Carl, and that's the small danger of having like a lot of rear brake bias. But you can't slam on the brakes. If you're locking up the front and you're locking up the rears. But it looked like they were pretty much through the corner. I should have been off to get the brakes by then. So maybe just a little too much throttle.
Actually, Jimmy, I thought we were under yellow now. We're actually still green.
We're still green.
As the caution, caution not right there. So Matthew Hake is your leader here on the front stretch. I'm guessing because they were down off the racing line, and iRacing deemed that was not a cautionable offense, even though three cars were involved. As your leader, Hake into the wall, exiting the corner. You got the 5 of Dylan Jacobs now working his way back up there. He's side by side with TJ Hanley heading into 3.
Yeah, it's the 5 Dylan Jacobs sit right there. TJ trying to get underneath the A3, does get a nose down. They almost touch there as they head down the front stretch, head down to turn number 1. So they're able to make it around there. So now the 83 has to battle with the 5 here, and you look at the tower. Everybody was in on lap number 55 for brand new tires, so nobody out there on any older tires. Newest tires are back towards MP number 18 with Kyle Emerson. So definitely, I'm sure he would love to use those. But right now, I think he is one lap. Yeah, he's one lap down. So there's only 17 drivers on the lead lap right now.
We're starting to lose drivers, unfortunately, with some of these incidents, as we still have, it looks like 20 cars still running in this race, but out front it is now TJ Hanley for, I believe, the first time here tonight. He's got that 08 out front. Biggest mover of the race, Jay Monin, is up into 6th place. I believe he was the leader at this restart, but falling back through the field here a little bit. He has tires from back on lap number 39, so certainly some new tires in front of him, but laps are starting to tick down here. We're getting close to 20 laps to go here at Worldwide Technology. Hopefully these drivers got one more chance here at a nice little green flag run.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a decent amount of laps here. 22 laps to go. Obviously they might be good to go the rest of the way. I'm not quite sure. Obviously came in at lap 55, so that means they don't have to make 30 laps. Caution will mix things up for sure. I'm sure TJ would hopefully this thing stays green as he finally gets the chance to put the 08 out front there in front of Dylan Jacobs. Now Dylan Jacobs got to work to get back around the 08, and I'm sure TJ's going to defend as hard as he can, but doing a good job kind of just letting that car rotate through the corners, holding it down the bottom, just run his line. That's pretty much what you need to do, just kind of keep things going. Just you can see him down there, but you see right there that opportunity where he drifts up a little bit. That could be where he's weak at, and if Dylan plays his cards right, he can stick his nose down there and create a little pressure there with the 08s and drive him up the track even a little bit higher. But TJ's doing a fantastic job through turns 1 and 2 at the moment, and I'm sure being out front with that clean air car is paying off big for the 08 this time.
Absolutely, yeah, it's definitely helping him out with the clean air and not having the aero wash that's coming off the back of it like the 5 is dealing with. But clearly, it seems like Jacob's able to hook that corner through 3 and 4 a little bit better than the 08. But both these drivers at the front and first and second have a win on the season. The man in third does not. I'm sure Matthew Hake would love to see them mix it up out front and give himself a chance at the win here tonight. The 77, Josh Duncan in fourth. Tiffany Ellis hounding him right now. Looks like a new paint scheme on the 9 there for Tiffany Ellis in fifth place. Jay Monin, Cody Handler, Chris Ledford, Will O'Connor, and Ron Millum currently for your top 10 as we're under the last 20 laps of this race. Want to send a shout out to Yield and Maximum Edge Graphics for sponsorship here for the season. And thank you to everyone out there in Sierra Nation for tuning in. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. Get you in touch with everything that Sierra has to offer. As I think, Jimmy, we may be under our longest green flag run of the night. I know it's only been 5-10 laps, but at least they found something out here.
Yeah, doing a pretty good job right now. And, and obviously sometimes it takes just that, kind of getting out there, letting the run go. And obviously we wouldn't have been, but, iRacing deemed tandem spinning off down on the apron is cool. So no caution flowing. You can see the 24 getting to the inside of the 71 here. And you can see the 24 backing it up here just a little bit. And that's, what he needs obviously to do so he doesn't drift to the outside. And you can hear Ron Millum getting off that throttle, but getting a little better run out of turn number 2 than the 71. He's going to stay to that outside and maybe start running a little higher line there for number 91 and see if he can work his way up into P number 8 as Chris Ledford is holding that position down at the moment. Where we want to cross over.
I think Kathy's getting a little impatient with Tiffany wanting that 9 to start moving up there sooner than later, and maybe just wanting me to shut up about the caution situation as well. So I apologize, Kathy. I'm trying to make a little light of the situation, a little yellow here tonight. And unfortunately, I don't want to make you blue. But either way, we're taking a look at Tiffany Ellis trying to work over here this 77 and get around and maybe make a run at the front of this field at some point here tonight. But time is starting to tick away here. About 15 laps left in this race. TJ Hanley leading the way by about 0.6 of a second over Dylan Jacobs, as Jacobs has stretched out now to about a second ahead of Matthew Hake, and then another 0.6 of a second back to the battle that you're looking at right here between Josh Duncan and Tiffany Ellis.
Yeah, and Tiff's had a couple of wins there and didn't do too bad last week. And here now in another top 5. So just having an overall great season so far with the 9, getting those 2 victories and keeping up there in the points. But the biggest thing is that she's already made it into the chase portion, so just needs to do well and finish out the season here, regular season, before start putting in final races. TJ Hanley out there finally in the 08, hoping that this thing goes green and. Nobody around. He needs to try to get underneath or make a buy or whatnot. So he wants this thing to go green the rest of the way, I'm sure. As we talked about him earlier, not being having that opportunity or just kept being in the wrong spot at the wrong time for the majority of the races here. So we'll see if we can get a chance to talk to the 08 after this thing is all said and done. 13 laps ago, TJ Hanley is your leader. Dylan Jacobs in second, Matthew Hake in third, Josh Duncan, Tiffany Ellis for your top 5. Cody Handler up 12 spots in 6th at the moment. As somebody is up along the wall there. I think that was the 67 of Jay Monin.
Oh! Gets there a little bit off the corner with Ron Mellon, but keep it going straight here. I look like, I don't know if Jay just got crossed up with the corners, but definitely drove it in a little bit too deep there in a 3. A little bit better there this time through 1 and 2 as they're side by side still for 7th place, and that got close here again. As some good hard battling here right now, getting late in the race as we're getting close to 10 laps to go here. The lead was 0.6 of a second for quite a few laps, but now it's not. Now it's getting a little bit closer. As Dylan Jacobs starting to reel in that 08, maybe late race life or late run life in that number 5. Maybe he was back there saving tires. Was certainly is not going to help. Brushing it off the corner, getting a little close for 5th place again between Duncan and Ellis, as Ellis looking for a run into 3 and 4. Trying to work that outside, cannot get to the inside right now, Josh Duncan. So maybe trying a little bit of a crossover move here off of turn number 4. Not going to be enough for a run. So we stay Hanley, Jacobs, Hake, Duncan, and Ellis for the top 5.
Yeah, and the top 5 have kind of put a nice little gap on the field there. You know, obviously one of the closer battles here and for the top 5. But back from 7th all the way, or I should say 6th, all the way back to Will O'Connor and 11th. They are extremely close. If I went ahead and I changed this to the interval, you'd see that we're all the orange. So under that half a second there, trying to battle it out here. 9 laps to go.
Yeah, time's starting to tick away here as we've finally got on a nice little run here from the last caution, and hopefully we'll get to see a good finish, because it is getting closer at the front. It was 0.6 of a second. It was 3. Now it's 0.1. That 5 has reeled in the 08. Does he have anything for TJ Hanley here at the end? Maybe trying some different lines here through 3 and 4, trying to figure out what works. Going to lose some time that time by, though. Almost 0.3 of a second just in that corner, as Hanley really good through 3 and 4 that time. Has pulled a slight gap on the number 5, but through 1 and 2, big run for the 5 through the corner and exiting the corner. Gonna reel in the 08 here once again. Seems like they're better on opposite sides of the track, but unfortunately for the 5, the 08 is better through the final corners right now in 3 and 4, and that's where he needs to figure it out. Looks like a better corner this time, better rotation, running just a little bit higher of a line. It's gonna stick with him down the front stretch.
Yeah, just getting a little better run out of 3 and 4 here, and TJ's doing what he needs to do, just wrapping that bottom the best he can, and just take his time, let that car rotate, and he has enough room that he can slide up in front of the 5, so that the 5 isn't able to get that momentum. If he can get to the outside of the 08, he would take away the 08's momentum coming out of the corner. But 7 laps to go here. The 5 continues to hound the back bumper of the 08 to try to get around. A little bit of a block move right coming down right there, but down to the inside, heading down into turn number 3. Right?
1 and 2. 1 and 2 right here, yeah. And the 5 is going to clear him, but now the crossover move from the 08, trying to get the momentum off the corner, and now down the backstretch. We'll see if Hanley has enough. Doesn't look like he's going to have it right now as the run stalls slightly. Now Hanley has got to go to school here a little bit and try to figure out what the 5 was doing better and how can he reel the 5 in and try and make a move. He's going to get close to getting alongside off the corner. Not going to be enough though. The 5 brushes the wall slightly, but they hit the line. We got 5 laps to go here at Gateway, and it's starting to get mighty racy at the front. The 5 seems like he likes to kind of diamond that corner off and drift it up in between 1 and 2 and then really get a good run out of the corner. It works again down the backstretch as he stretches it out to a quarter second.
Probably getting that fresh air too, Carl, but the 08 closes in. He's going to end up pushing him wide there, and I don't know if he's going to be able to get that rotation enough there for a run this time.
He didn't not enough for a run, but I thought he was going to lose some time trying to make that move right there into 3 and 4. Now they head back into 1 and 2. Lap traffic could come into play here very soon. They got some lap cars right in front of them. We'll see if they hold up either of these cars, as that was not a good exit for the 5. The 08 of Hanley going to get a run down the backstretch, but not going to be able to send it to the inside. He's going to get close to the back bumper of the 5. Not sure if they touched it all. Looks like the first lap car, they come up on the 25 of Akron, going to get out of the way, let them battle, and here comes the 08 of Hanley back to the inside. 3 laps to go.
And this is a battle here for the lead as you're watching them go back and forth, and this time the 08's not going to be able to drift out, so do keep it off the wall. That gives plenty of room, so good run between both drivers. You can see because that outside was taken away, the 5 was able to get back to the front there, and that's what it takes. And obviously still trying to really rotate the corner. He does a great job, just can't get alongside the 5. And since he's so far behind Carl, he can't keep pushing the car or he's going to slide out. 2 laps to go.
2 to go here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. It's only 2.5 miles for these drivers to figure out who is going to win, as it is very close here tonight. We'll take a look one more time at Cody Handler's car, and a shout out to all the admins and everybody that got their selfies on the car. But it is the battle up front that has definitely got my interest in this one. Still a battle for 4th and 5th as well between Ellis and actually 3rd and 4th. No, I was right, 4th and 5th, as Ellis has gotten past Josh Duncan. But this is the battle for the win of the race. White flag is in the air. They come out of 1 and 2. A good run for Hanley down the backstretch. Will he send it into 3 and 4 and use the chrome bumper? Not going to happen. Can't get to the inside enough. He's going to try and rotate that thing as hard as he can, but he's going to clip the apron and send it hard into the wall. And I can't help but remember, I believe it was the last time, maybe 2 times ago, that we were here at Worldwide Technologies to see the battle for 3rd there, won by Matthew Hake by 1/100th of a second over Tiffany Ellis. But I remember TJ Hanley looking like he had the race won under caution, and decided to spin it around backwards and drive backwards. Dude, I believe it was here at Gateway, and unfortunately Hanley loses another one here, but this one to a great battle with Josh Duncan. Heck of a battle, as we need to take a look at that finish here once again between Matthew Hake and Tiffany Ellis.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and just do the good old-fashioned rewind, as she had the lead, I think, coming through the corner. Oh, there it is. Or too far.
Yep, already passed it. Yep.
I go back. Go back just a little bit farther. Go down the backstretch here. So you can see, what was kind of happening back here between Tiffany Oh, man. Okay. Checker flag with Tiffany Ellis.
Just click on white flag. If you click on white flag, it'll just show the last lap there.
Will it?
Yep. Yeah, just double click on white flag.
All right. So we can watch them two here at race, and Tiffany Ellis was able to send it on the outside and close that gap.
Yeah, this heading down the front stretch. This is taking the white flag right here. So 1 more lap to go, and Ellis definitely seemed like she liked going to the outside, and kind of the Dylan Jacobs line where he would diamond the corner. Looks like she did the same thing. Diamond it, got a good run off the corner, got a nice little draft down the backstretch, sent it to the outside, and maybe caught Hake by surprise here a little bit. Really deep into the corner, and got a good rotation. Didn't get up in any kind of marbles. Got to the outside, exit in the corner, but just had a feather. You see right there, just a little bit of a feather, and a little bit of a side draft there right at the end, and 1/100th of a second for Matthew Hake getting 3rd. Heck of a battle here all the way to the line, and a lot better running here at the very end of it to get this thing done. And I want to thank everyone out there for tuning in here again. We'll get our top 3 in for their interviews in a second. I want to thank Maximum Edge Graphics and Yield for the sponsorship here tonight as well. So we got 2 of the drivers in there all ready to go, just waiting for the winner to I guess finish celebrating here tonight, his 2nd win of the season, that being the 5 of Dylan Jacobs. But 3rd place here tonight is going to go to the 83 of Matthew Hake. Matthew looked like he had 3rd place pretty much locked up. You were kind of in between 2 battles. You had the battle for the lead, and you had the battle between Ellis and Duncan for 4th and 5th, and you were just kind of in your own little world right there. And then all of a sudden, last lap, Tiffany Ellis decided to give you a little scare.
Yeah, I took no tires on that last pit stop because I pitted the caution before, and my tires were just shot, and I was doing everything I could to stay in front of her.
So at what point did you know you had 3rd there? I mean, it ended up being a 1/100th of a second difference there. I mean, it looked like Ellis had a good enough run on you out of the corner, but maybe a little side draft right there at the last split second to get you 3rd.
Well, it was definitely close, and gave me a little heart attack right there. I needed a little medication for that, but it was a lot of fun tonight. I was trying to give her room, so I went wreck both of us. So
Well, it was a heck of a race to the line here, and it was enough to get you third, get you the interview up here, and now I'll get you a little time to give any shout outs or thanks that you may have in that 83.
Well, to everybody that we race week in and week out, it's a lot of fun racing with you guys. And hey, 2 third place finishes in a row. I can't complain.
No, not at all. Maybe hitting your stride here as it gets close to the end of the regular season, get you ready for that chase. So congrats again on the third. We'll let you go celebrate. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
That is your third place finish here tonight, the 83 of Matthew Hake. Second place tonight, Jimmy's going to go to the 08 of TJ Hanley.
TJ, Jimmy, and Carl up to boot the copy.
Jimmy, Carl, ooh, and the seat is warm. Thank you, fellas.
Yeah,
What's up?
I don't know if it's warm, but it's definitely been a while since you've been up here. Obviously, interesting race as you've had your ups and downs, more downs this season than ups. And tonight, you're able to finally get the 08 out front in that clean air, get pulling away from the field just a little bit, and almost had the win. But Dylan Jacobs was able to figure out a way and how to get around you, maybe saving a little bit of tire back there, and finally give you a little run for your money. But you tried to go for it at the end, smack the wall. It just wasn't going to happen here tonight for the 08 for the win, but you get a great finish here in P number 2. Give us a rundown on what your race was like tonight.
First and foremost, hi, Kathy. Didn't get to say that, Charlotte, because of just some bad luck, but yeah, it was I'm not very good here at Gateway. Wasn't good here in season 1 when all that happened. I wasn't good here last year, so my expectation was, we're just gonna have a points day. And just found that a lot of people were just overdoing it early. So I was like, oh well, maybe we got a chance, and yeah, we got a chance. Started 10th or so. Kind of got moved to the back, worked my way forward. Just a night where I was like, oh man, I just felt like it was going to be a rougher night. Got ran over by the 42. It is what it is. It's
It definitely makes things interesting out there when a lot of other drivers are having maybe some of the issues that you had during your first couple seasons here. But like you said, you were able to kind of collect those all together and get that great win. I mean, is there anything that you maybe wished you would have done a little bit different and give Dylan a run for his money at the end?
I wish I could learn how to drive this place better. I'm not very good here. He was a lot better at saving tires, and I'll give him all the credit in the world for that, because that was definitely the deciding factor. Was he was able to save a little more tire than I was, but I felt like I did a decent enough job to just kind of just be there, give him a run for his money. But man, and then Justin was out there. Love seeing him out front. Jay was out front early. Man, just overall, this was a lot better racing than last season. That's what I'm mostly grateful. I'm just very grateful. It was a lot better last season than last season. Able to utilize a little bit of tire strategy as well. Took 2 tires on that middle pit stop. Did 4 tires on the end. And yeah, just had a really good, solid night. Man, I wish I was more talkative but I'm worn out, boys. I played
a man with many words with a few tonight, and that's okay.
Did I hear that right?
Yeah. Well, I went down to the serving station, got myself a couple of tea of good drinking teas. Played 3 hours worth of pickleball beforehand, just to kind of wear myself out. So when I got to you, I was like, all right, I'm too tired to be angry. So, but yeah, a big shout out to the serving station. The car is based on their 4th of July parade, the Dink White and Blue. Having a lot of fun with that paint scheme. I'm glad I was actually able to do better this season with the car at Gateway than I did last season. We'll probably change it up a little bit next week for, I believe it is Iowa. I believe Iowa's next week, and the start of the mid-season tournament. I'm so excited for that, boys. But yeah, very excited. Big shout out to Jay and Justin for helping me out practicing on Mondays. Hopefully, we can bring in 2 more drivers next week. since their Wednesdays are about to free up after tonight, because I think they're got their Truck Series finale. So hopefully they can come race a Cup Series with us next week. If not, maybe for Nashville SS. Again, thank y'all for watching. Barry, Kathy, M, like we do appreciate y'all. We love that y'all are watching. Y'all comment. Y'all tell us who's out there looking good, who's not. Jimmy, Carl, thank y'all once again for putting on the broadcast. We really do appreciate it as the drivers.
I really appreciate the shout outs there, man. Again, congratulations. And of course, we'll let you go celebrate this one with your friends and family.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
That is your second place finisher here tonight, the 08 of TJ Hanley. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the mid-season bracket as well, as I'm a big bracket guy. But we're going to bring in now the winner of tonight's race. Second win on the season is going to go to the 5 of Dylan Jacobs. Dylan, it looked like you were kind of just hanging back there for a while. You were kind of sitting right there in that 0.6 of a second bubble for quite some time between TJ Hanley. And then all of a sudden, maybe a little late life in that car.
Yeah, honestly, was battling him pretty hard at the beginning of the run and realized I wasn't getting anywhere, so I backed off and just was trying to save my tires a little bit to make a run there at him at the end like I did.
Well, it certainly worked. You got to the lead there, but it wasn't over, as TJ had a couple shots to give you before the end.
Oh, most definitely. It was a hard battle, and I absolutely loved it. That is what racing is all about. And I can't give TJ credit enough for keeping it clean. Like I said, that's just what it's all about. And it was just so much fun. The blood pressure was going, legs were shaking.
Well, that's definitely what it's all about here, and you love to have it here towards the end of this thing. It was a little bit of a caution fest here tonight, but luckily you guys got a nice little run at the end and give you a chance to run back down TJ and get the win here tonight for your second win of the season. Give you a little bit more momentum getting towards the end of the regular season. So congrats on the win here tonight. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Of course, my friends and family for letting me do this. My teammates for always being a great support and us working well together. And you guys for putting out a great broadcast like always.
Well, we appreciate that for sure. We'll let you go and celebrate this one. We'll see you next week as you guys head to Iowa.
Yes, sir. Hopefully trying to double down.
Absolutely, buddy. That is your winner here tonight. Second win of the season for the 5 of Dylan Jacobs. I want to thank everyone out there in Sierra Nation for tuning in here tonight as we had the Wednesday night doubleheader. Tomorrow we got the Thursday doubleheader with the Virtual Velocity Racing and Core GT Series. But that's going to do it for us here tonight from the Worldwide Technology Raceway. We'll see you at the track.
Peace.